They playing land, yes they playing land. Saggle up yourself with tech interrogation. They playing land, yes they playing land. Welcome back to SouFLoTV again, everybody. It is your host with the most coming in hot. Y'all know Donald Trump is not playing right now. Donald Trump said that he promises the biggest deportation campaign the United States of America has ever seen. Mass deportation is what is promised. And the United States of America has over 11 million illegal immigrants living in the United States of America. And Donald Trump vows to get rid of most of them. Honestly, if you ask me, he won't be able to do it. At the pace he is going now is pretty slow. And he has 4 years in office to accomplish that. So he will have to get up to at least 1 million a year, and then he will have deported about 4 million by the time he gets out of office. 4 from 11 leaves 7, 8, 7. So he will still leave 7 million illegal immigrants in the United States of America, even if he deported 1 million per year out of the U.S. So I don't think he's going to be able to do what he said he was going to do, but I do think that a lot of people are going to be deported in the process, right? So here comes news out of Jamaica that 55 more Jamaicans are slated to be deported to Jamaica from the United States of America on February 27th, but one prominent name is not among them. I don't know why people are looking to see if DUDUS Coke was going to be deported, released from custody, etc. I've heard the talk. A lot of people saying, yo, shark man, I come home, you know. A lot of people are saying the boss is back. And these things, I'm soon touchdown again. Christopher DUDUS Coke will not be among those who will be returned to Jamaica, despite reports that have been circulating on social media. A security official at the Jamaican embassy in Washington, D.C. has told the news media houses to include the Gleaner yesterday. Now, if DUDUS Coke was going to be deported, had been released and was going to be deported, I would suggest that they not even tell anybody that he is entering back into the country. I mean, that goes without saying. Why? I don't have to go into the details of why, right? Quite a few people who are closely associated with Mr. Coke have been brutally murdered since his incarceration, to include brothers of his. So I don't think it's a wise idea to put that out there that, you know, DUDUS Coke is coming in on the 27th, February 27th, on a flight from the United States of America. That's just begging for something to go bad. Although I do believe that sometimes that is exactly what they are doing. Now, it's kind of like the First 48. The First 48 is a snitch kind of show where they investigate crimes, and they have a theory that if the crime is not solved within the first 48 hours, it becomes virtually impossible to solve after that, or very, very much more difficult. In that show, if you watch, they will pick up people from the neighborhood, the community, and they'll take them to the interrogation room. And sometimes they would blur the faces of the individuals, but a lot of the times they don't blur the faces of the individuals. You watch that person snitch, and then they send that person back out into the community after airing that episode. That person is now marked in that community as a snitch, and somebody is looking to bust that person's head. So all I'm saying is they use these people to set up certain scenarios and to draw fire, is what we call it. Well, they said that we have received several phone calls about DUDUS Coke being returned to Jamaica on February 27th, but there is no truth to those rumors, said the security officials at the embassy. DUDUS Coke is slated to be released from the U.S. prison in 2029. We are in 2025. And the security officials at the embassy said that no word has come to them yet from the U.S. administration about an early release for him. DUDUS Coke, who has been described as a Jamaican drug lord and the head of the notorious Shower Posse. He was sentenced to 23 years in a U.S. prison after being extradited to the United States of America back in 2010. And he was found guilty in a New York City court on charges that were brought by the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York. As y'all can remember, the Tivoli incursion, y'all can remember helicopters flying in the air, y'all can remember a lot of people lost their lives, y'all can remember the big protests with people out in the streets with signs that said, Jesus died for us and now we will die for DUDUS. Yeah, there were people that were that much dedicated to him and willing to do anything to save him from being caught, right? Well, the security officials at the embassy said that the number of Jamaicans that are being returned is in keeping with the numbers that they've seen most months, and that there has been no significant increase in the numbers despite the heightened crackdown on documented migrants in the United States of America by the Donald Trump administration. Now, most recently, the Donald Trump administration had put out and the U.S. immigration authorities had published that there are 5,021 Jamaicans who have deportation orders as we speak. One thing we know about Jamaica and them is this: a determined set of Ras people. So once you put out that there's a list of 5,000 and plus of them, and then they said most of them are not in custody, and ICE will have to find them and round them up, I said to myself, good luck. Good luck finding them. Good luck finding them. So ICE is now tasked with the job of finding these individuals, the 5,000 plus. And of course, we've had the discussion about what this will mean for a small island like Jamaica if ICE was to actually find over 5,000 Jamaicans that are illegal and decide to put them on a plane by tomorrow morning. And in a space of 2 to 3 days, we have 5,000 newly deported individuals land back in the country. How would little Jamaica handle this situation? We've had that discussion. However, apparently, they're having some trouble gathering up these Jamaicans in numbers. So far, according to our authorities, the security forces at the embassy said that the number of Jamaicans that are being returned hasn't spiked at all. It's like, a little bit more here and there. It'll be 30, now it's 50. So we get an extra 20. It'll be 40 some months, now it's 55. We get an extra 15, that kind of thing. But it's not like we used to get 1 and 2, and now we're getting 150 each flight, right? So there is no big difference. The security officials also said that there has not been a significant increase in the number of Jamaicans who are out of status in the U.S. calling and seeking to return home. Just the regular amount of people who normally always do. One person said that several who are out of status and who did call the embassy, they were seeking travel documents so that they could return back to the island. Remember, news broke also that some people were preferring to self-deport because it is said that if you self-deport, then it's easier to reapply and get accepted to enter back in. But if you are deported forcefully, then it's going to be at least 10 years before you could even apply for a visa to re-enter the U.S. again. So some people were looking at it like, you know what? Now come go on my yard. Now contact the embassy. I'm going to get some paperwork in order, get myself up out of here, and then try to work another angle to get back in. That number of individuals has not risen significantly according to the local or legal authorities. There has been no significant increase in calls recently from those people who are seeking to self-deport. However, Jamaica's ambassador to the United States, Miss Audrey Marks, during a Let's Connect Diaspora Town Hall meeting earlier this month, had said that there has been an increase in the number of Jamaicans in the U.S. who are out of status, who are reaching out to the embassy seeking to return home. So the embassy is saying they haven't seen a huge number of increase. However, the ambassador to the United States has said that there has been an increase, but I guess it hasn't been that much of a significant increase. Like I said before, it's not like before it would be 2-3 people and now it's like 150 people. It's just like, okay, so before it was 10, now it's 15. Before it was 30, now it's 35, 40, right? A few more, yes. Significantly higher, no. Marks said that at the time that there had been an increase in the number of Jamaicans seeking to return home before being deported, some people do not want the indignity of being deported. So there are those who are out of status and they are reaching out to take steps to return to Jamaica. They don't want to have to come through the airport and have to cover their faces with the big bag that they give them to carry their stuff where everybody can tell you're a deportee. They don't want to have to go through that process, right? And be embarrassed, because Jamaica has a stigma against people who have been deported. Now, I've made videos where I've said this over and over. If you're deported, they've sent you back home, back to your land. And unless you are somebody who was running for your life from Jamaica because gunman want to shoot off your head back or something, if you're just a regular Jamaican who you never have no crosses and perils in Jamaica, you know you were just looking for a better life overseas, and you got caught up and you let the visa expire and you did there work under the table, but things never work out and them end up grab you. Sometimes it's a blessing in disguise, my friend. Sometimes, you know, the Most High reset us when we don't want to be reset and put us in a place where we need to be, even though we don't feel like that's where we need to be. So it's all on how you handle it. And us Jamaicans need to stop looking at our people with this stigma like, oh, them deport the boy or deport the girl, come back to Jamaica, so they are nobodies. They are Jamaicans, just like the rest of us. You understand? Okay, so Marks had further pointed out that some Jamaicans who were in deporting proceedings and who were entitled to due process, they were actually waiving their rights to the due process. They don't want to stay here and fight through the court systems in the US. They just said, listen, forget the due process, just send me home. Which is what Buju Banton did when Buju's term was over in incarceration. He chose to waive that process, because when you don't trouble the bear or the dragon or the eagle, them don't pick out your eye, crop you up or make no nice upon you. And y'all see how it was easy for Buju to return? Right, because he never troubled the process. He didn't stay and say, I'm going to fight and I'm going to get lawyers and we're going to go through this. He said, listen, just send me go on my yard, please. I don't want to fight you in no court, right? And boom, boom, Bomson, bam, he's back, right? Okay, she did say that there are Jamaicans out there who are in the deportation process who are waiving their rights to the judicial process of it. Just send me home. She said, however, that she did not have the details. Not everyone who is deported has committed a crime is something also for a lot of us to understand. And so we have to be careful how we assess them. We ourselves as Jamaicans have to be careful how we start demonizing our people. Yes, you have one and two broke bad and criminal and elements in there, but it has been proven time and time again that majority of the people who are being deported are not people with criminal records. They are people who just overstayed their time in a foreign land. Meanwhile, the embassy in Washington, D.C. in the United States of America has introduced an immigration corner on its website to advise Jamaicans. I'm going to say that again. The embassy in Washington, D.C. has an immigration corner on its website now they have introduced to advise Jamaicans. A message on the website states, as you know, we are unable to provide legal advice. We are, however, concerned that some of our citizens may need that kind of advice. We have therefore provided below a list of attorneys known to us and who may be able to assist. This list is not exhaustive, so we encourage you to ask other trusted sources such as pastors and other community leaders for recommendations. Please take care as best as possible to ensure that you are receiving advice from reputable sources and not just persons who are seeking to take advantage of our community members and their heightened anxieties. There was a story we just did of a Trinidadian family, mother, father, daughter, who ended up getting over 400 years in prison in the United States of America. And one of their crime was that the father pretended to be an FBI agent, and he would prey on Trinidadians who were in the United States of America illegally. And he would approach them and say, hey, I'm an FBI agent, and I have close ties with immigration, and I know that you are out of status. But hey, calm down. I'm not going to get you deported. I'm going to need about 10,000 US dollars from you. And if you can come up with that, I can ensure that you and your family will get your status straightened out. So you will end up getting a green card and you will be straight as well. Well, when the U.S. authorities found out about that, they did not take that lightly. Impersonating an FBI agent, they did not take that lightly. Preying on the immigrant community and using their vulnerability and their heightened anxieties against them, they did not take that lightly either. So, warning, there are people out there who are doing this. Now, while we have always reminded our citizens to abide by the laws of the country in which they have chosen to live, we encourage you to be even more careful and alert. You should also take very good care to stay tuned and to legitimate sources of information regarding changes in laws, such as the fact that offenses like shoplifting may now actually lead to jail and possible deportation. I will add one more. Traffic offenses can now lead to deportation as well. Pass along the information. Each one, teach one. Leave your comments in the comment section below, and I will catch you on the next video. It's SouFLoTV. I'm out. Peace.